Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to my other apostles, a great millstone, and peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Vicarium of the house of David that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation of Yashar'Allah. This is from TED Talk. Bill Gates, the next outbreak, we're not ready, from April 3rd, 2015. All right, about 7 years ago. I did a video on this before, but just going back, you know, and hey, they tell you, all right, these higher ups, they tell you what's to come. Why? Because they're orchestrating it. All right, you read these comments, and these people are so docile. These are the yellow list. Oh, Bill Gates was ahead of his time. You know, the biggest I told you so. No, they're orchestrating it, you peons. All right. You know, yeah, these people are so idiotic, especially you Americans. You know, you believe anything the Edomite, this Edomite, feeds you. All right. But let's play this video. All right, because they tell you of these, so-called flus that are coming. All right, and Bill Gates actually mentioned the Rona, the 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 monkey. All right, I can't say the full word, but you know what's happening today. The monkey. All right, the monkey box. And the Biden administration just um, sent out accredited 50,000 needles. So let's play this.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence. But we've actually...
Just real quick, and missiles will come. All right, missiles will hit America, and everyone that's on the soils of America that's not of the elected will die. All right, many ways of death are coming, either through the sword, which are your guns, ballistic missiles, ICBMs, famine. The list goes on. All right.
Invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers.
Excuse me. Yeah, Salaki about that. A little distraction. But let's continue, though.
Extremely inaccurate.
Salaki.
We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Médecins Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers. But even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them. But that was never tried. So there was a lot that was missing, and these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talked about. Now in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more.
Which that was man-made, all right? That was man-made, and that was targeted at Israelites, because a lot of Israelites dwell in West Africa, all over the world, but you have a lot of a southern kingdom that dwell in West Africa. And that was man-made to target the Israelites. And Bill Gates was going around, all right, even Oprah Winfrey, giving, injections, all right, to people. And this is all orchestrated, all right? The Rona, it was real to some degree, all right? What I mean is, the news was manipulating the deaths, all right? People go in for, some type of injury or ailment besides the Crown Royal, and if they die, they labeled it as, deaths because of the Crown Royal, all right, 19, all right? So, hey, these man-made, I gotta, pick my words wisely. Man-made V's, if you know what I'm saying. These man-made, viruses are, they're created in these labs, all right. And one will come that will be devastating, that will kill off a lot of people, all right. But let's continue.
The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case numbers would have been much larger. The next time, we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a serious problem.
Which, that was man-made too. And that was all manipulating the news, all right? The death reports, all that was manipulated, all right? You people have to realize that this is the devil we're talking about.
But in fact, we can build a really good response system. We have the benefits of all the science and technology that we talk about here. We've got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they're moving. We have advances in biology that should dramatically change the turnaround time to look at a pathogen and be able to make drugs and vaccines that fit for that pathogen. So we can have tools, but those tools need to be put into an overall global health system, and we need preparedness. The best lessons, I think, on how to get prepared are, again, what we do for war. For soldiers, we have full-time waiting to go. We have reserves that can scale us up to large numbers. NATO has a mobile unit that can deploy very rapidly. NATO does a lot of war games to check, are people well trained? Do they understand about fuel and logistics and the same radio frequencies? So they are absolutely ready to go. So those are the kinds of things we need to deal with an epidemic. What are the key pieces? First is we need strong health systems in poor countries. That's where mothers can give birth safely, kids can get all their vaccines, but also where we'll see the outbreak very early on. We need a medical reserve corps, lots of people who've got the training and background who are ready to go with the expertise. And then we need to pair those medical people with the military, taking advantage of the military's ability to move fast, do logistics, and secure areas. We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score is germs 1, people 0. Finally, we need lots of advanced R&D in areas of vaccines and diagnostics. There are some big breakthroughs, like the adeno-associated virus.
You see, and it's all orchestrated, man. You know, and he was already doing this. And there was another TED talk. He was already going around, you know, injecting people. But there was another TED talk of them talking about, you know, or he was talking about too much people on the earth. You know, it was too much. It's too populated, which is that's all a hoax. You know, yeah, it's a lot of people, but the Lord said, "What? Be fruitful and multiply." And actually, they said that you can fit all the world's, you know, uh, um, populace in the state of Texas. All right. So the earth is huge. All right. It's huge. It's bigger than what you think. Esau still is still discovering, you know, new lands. All right. He can't even search out, you know, the depths of the ocean. All right. Don't let this man fool you. He tries to make himself look like he knows, you know, everything in the universe. All right, they can see all the distant galaxies. This man hasn't even he can't even travel outside the Earth's radiation belt, the Van Halen belt. Going to the moon was a hoax. It's the biggest devil. All right, the biggest deceiver in the world. You know, and you docile people believe everything this man tells you. Man, you look at these comments, man. You people are so, oh my goodness, you are yellow list people. All right, read that. Go look that up. You know, do yourself a favor. Red list, blue list, yellow list, and you will see how much you mean to the government. You don't mean anything. All right. Let's see what these comments say. Thanks for the heads up on that, Mr. Gates. Even more reason for us to stand together, to stand stronger. You see these docile people 6 months ago, you know. Now 7 years ago, okay, I can, you know, let them, you know, they have an excuse. But this is 6 months ago. All right. I don't even want to read this person's name because they don't matter. They're just stupid. All right. You people are very docile and stupid. I'm gonna say it just like that. Stupid people. All right. You people need to get depopulated. You know. Let's go to this Georgia Guidestone. Read this. Go to Georgia and look for this Guidestone. Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. Okay, we'll see. All right, and it's gonna be too late when everything happens. It's a global famine going on, you idiots. All right, I'm getting angry because you know you just look at these people all day, how stupid they look. All right, just idiotic, and especially our people, man. You Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right. First one, maintain humanity under 500 million and perpetual balance with nature. They want to depopulate the earth. You get it? All right. That's why it's going to be a great slaughter. You know, a great slaughter. Let me get trying to get the scriptures now. Salakia. Okay. It's just one of those days, man. You get vexed with everybody. You know, you brothers know what I mean. But let's go to 2nd Ezra 15, verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword and those, these are man-made, all right? And wait till one that's really deadly, all right? Because they manipulate these deaths in the news, but wait till one actually you start seeing dead bodies dropping. Because if this was such a pandemic, you'll see biohazard trash cans. People won't really come outside. You would just see men with biohazard suits walking around, all right? You know, it'll really be a quarantine. Famine, which hey, that's here, is increasing gradually. All right, but global famine's already in talks. You know, they said that the global food supply is only 6 months. Death and destruction for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, this devil is about to come down with great wrath soon. And he's gonna do it by any means, bio weapons. All right. You know that injection you get, that's a bioweapon. You people become infertile and graphene oxide and it's killing some people. All right. You come in infertile. You see it. Hey, Justin Bieber, his face is half paralyzed. All right, that's judgment, man. Revelation 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. That's us. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the sea, woe to you people. For the devil has come down. Who is the devil? What does devil mean? It means deceiver. And this devil is deceiving the whole world through everything. Through his history, through his propaganda, everything he pushes out in the news, 9/11, all right, going to the moon, all these inventions he said he created, it was really the so-called black men that created them. Jake, not just them, but Latinos, Native Americans, Israelites as a whole. For the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You see, he knows he has but a short time. He sees the chariots, the men of the Lord out on the street, prophesying, teaching. All right. So it's coming down the wire, man. Okay. So, Lord willing, it's been an edifying lesson. Okay. And until next time, Shalom.